They say home is where the heart is. I never once considered that, for someone else, home might just be a payday. I'm David Collins. 6 months ago, I left for a 3-day business trip out of state. My wife Monica kissed me goodbye at the door, smiled, said she'd take care of things at home. I had no reason to doubt her. But when I landed back in town, my world was gone, literally. I drove up our street, tired and hopeful for a weekend of rest, and found an empty lot where my house used to be. No family car. No mailbox. No Monica. There was a sign driven into the ground, sold. At first, I thought I was dreaming. I circled the block, checked the address, convinced I had lost my mind. But no, every neighbor stared at me from behind half-closed doors. My phone had dozens of missed calls, some numbers I didn't know, all urgent voicemails. The realtor, the bank, the police. Every brick I had laid. Every photo on the mantle. Every plan for our future, gone in 3 days. Sold without my knowledge. The money, over $500,000, transferred out of our joint account and into a numbered account I'd never seen. I reached Monica's phone, disconnected. Her email, her socials, her best friend's number, all dead ends. Panic clawed its way up my throat. I stumbled, breathless, to Steve's house down the street. That he opened the door, took one look at my face, and pulled me inside. "You need to call the cops, now," he said. I saw moving trucks, strange men. Monica looked different. She said you'd decided to move on. She was happy, Dave. Too happy. The police report was the beginning of a nightmare. "Tell us about your wife's recent activities," Detective Foster inquired, voice gentle, but eyes sharp. I blurted out, "She wasn't just my wife, she was everything. How could she do this to me?" I called the bank, hands shaking. They said the withdrawal was authorized by Monica, with documentation and power of attorney, except I'd never signed those forms. My name was forged, my trust weaponized. Legally, Monica covered every base, using loopholes I didn't even know existed. In the trunk of my car, I found a single envelope with my name. Monica's handwriting, steady and cold, read, "I'm sorry, David, that I can't do this anymore. Don't look for me. It's better this way." Somehow, the words hurt more than the loss itself. Every person in my life became a potential accomplice, an unwitting pawn in Monica's game. My parents, my co-workers, even Steve questioned if I'd missed the signs. How do you rebuild your life when every foundation was stolen by the one you slept beside? That's what I set out to discover. And what I uncovered about Monica, about myself, would chill you to your core. Welcome back to Voices of Ishtaraki, where untold secrets become cautionary tales. Do you think you truly know the person you share your life with? Think again. Tonight's story is about trust shattered, about dreams built brick by brick, then sold by the very hand that once promised you forever. The first few days were a blur of disbelief. I checked into a cheap motel, clutching my briefcase like a lifeline. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the empty lot, the sold sign, Monica's perfectly written apology. Detective Foster grilled me for hours. "Did Monica ever mention financial trouble? Did you have problems in your marriage?" "No," I answered, voice hoarse. "We were happy. At least, I thought we were." He handed me a stack of printouts, bank statements, property sale documents, Monica's forged signature side by side with mine. "Unfortunately, Mr. Collins, the trail goes cold here. This was carefully planned. Steve called every night, refusing to let me wallow in misery. She can't just disappear, Dave. People don't vanish, not completely. I met with Sharon Lee, my attorney, who shook her head in disbelief. In my 20 years of practice, I've never seen a spouse this methodical. She sold the property under a temporary power of attorney, timed every move with terrifying precision. You signed nothing, but... The notary witnessed Monica signing, probably with a fake ID. I spent hours retracing every conversation, every odd look, every lies I'd ignored. Had Monica hinted at anything? A sudden interest in legal shows. Her random trips to the city. The boxes she'd claimed were for donations. Under Sharon's guidance, I hired a private investigator, Rita Paulson. She was relentless, her questions razor sharp, her doubts merciless. Your wife didn't just leave you, David. She erased you. But she'll need that money somewhere. People like Monica don't go off the grid for long. I spent my days on calls with banks, trying, mostly failing, to freeze what little was left. Monica's new account was set up under a shell corporation. Every lead vanished into paperwork and silence. Then, a breakthrough. Steve, always loyal, passed along a rumor: Monica had been seen in Reno, at a high-end casino. She's not hiding, Dave, she's living it up. Rita traced the security footage. There she was, Monica, laughing at the blackjack tables, a new man at her side. Glass in hand, wedding band gone. My heartbreak turned to fury. I filed new charges, pressed on with every legal option available. But Monica was always just one step ahead. She emptied accounts seconds before banks could freeze them, switched towns before investigators arrived, charmed her way through hotel staff and managers. Nights blurred into days. My job performance tanked. I snapped at friends, shut out my family, haunted by questions with no answers. How could I miss who Monica really was? One night, after too much whiskey, I called Monica's old number. To my shock, someone answered, a man's voice, cold as ice. She's not here, Collins. She's got a new life now. Accept it. I hung up, bile rising in my throat. But giving up wasn't in my nature. If she'd built an empire on lies, then I'd take it down, one brick at a time. The days that followed were a relentless grind of hope and humiliation. My motel room became a war room, its tiny desk buried in paperwork, court notices, and private investigator reports. Every morning, Rita called with a new thread to chase: Monica's purchase of a high-end sports car in Nevada, luxury hotel stays under different names, flight logs that always stopped short of revealing a destination. I lost track of time. Some nights, adrenaline pushed me through until dawn. Other times, despair pinned me to the bed, crushing me with questions. Did Monica ever really love me, or was every smile, every moment we shared, just part of a breathtaking con? Steve tried to pull me out. You can't do this alone, Dave, he'd say, pressing a sandwich into my hand. We'll find her. Or at least, we'll get you your life back. Detective Foster pushed the investigation, his team combing through Monica's contacts for accomplices, but her plan was tight. Anyone close enough to suspect something was either used or kept in the dark. My parents were devastated, years of savings gone, their faith in humanity shaken. Rita's breakthrough came one rainy Saturday. Monica tried to cash a check in Las Vegas. To stall her, Rita swiftly froze the associated account, leaving Monica stranded. For the first time, Monica broke her silence. She called me, anger leaking through the line. You think you're clever? Her voice was ice, but I could hear the nerves crackling beneath. I did what I had to. You wouldn't have survived in my world, David. Let me go before you ruin yourself further. I'm already ruined, Monica, I said, my own anger boiling. But you'll answer for what you did. She hung up, leaving static and rage swirling in the empty motel room. The call gave us a lead. Rita traced its origin to a prepaid cell in a downtown Vegas hotel. I rushed to the airport, hope and dread dueling inside me. The hotel manager, shown Monica's photo, remembered her immediately. She checked out 10 minutes before you called. The security footage showed Monica hurrying to a waiting car, a new companion behind the wheel. Defeat tasted bitter. It seemed Monica lived in motion, always a city ahead, always a plan ready. My attorney, Sharon, filed recovery suits, but progress was slow. The money moved through shell companies in Panama, Switzerland, places where justice was just another word. Friends drifted away, uncomfortable with my obsession. Only Steve and Vanessa, my old college friend who joined Steve out of loyalty, stayed by my side. Some nights, the three of us would sit on Steve's porch, high school memories mixing with harsh present reality. You're going to make it, Dave, Vanessa insisted. Money can be rebuilt. You can't let her take your soul, too. But I felt hollow. News of Monica's exploits trickled in, photos of her at exclusive parties, her face always turned from the camera, a blur in a sea of strangers. Each glimpse was another wound. Then came the first real break. Rita's team tracked a flight to Miami, a woman matching Monica's description, traveling as Monica Martinez, with a forged passport. She booked a yacht for a weekend cruise. Foster coordinated with local law enforcement. It was the first time I dared to hope we might finally catch her. We staked out the docks. Hours passed. My heart pounded with every arrival. And then, there she was. Monica, laughing, arm-linked with a man I'd never seen. Police moved in. But Monica, always the fox, slipped away, escaping through a service exit, leaving her companion to face questioning and the full fury of the law. The man turned out to be another victim, conned for thousands. Back at the station, nothing but dead ends. Shock became exhaustion. The realization hit, Monica might never be caught. Not unless she made a mistake. That night, as I stared at the city lights from Steve's guest room, a new feeling finally settled, a cold, focused acceptance. Maybe Monica would never return the money, never face justice. But she would never again steal my peace of mind. That I wasn't sure where my story would end. But I knew it wouldn't end like hers, in flight, always running, always alone. The failed Miami sting left me reeling. Weeks passed. Monica became a ghost, her trail growing fainter with every day, every dead-end message. The media called my story, The Vanishing Wife, and internet strangers dissected my mistakes. Still, I couldn't quit. My identity, my future, all hijacked by love's oldest lie, trust. Steve sat with me most nights. You have to start choosing yourself now, Dave, he'd say gently. I wanted to. My job, miraculously, still hung on, but I was quiet, dulled by grief. My lawyer Sharon said, think beyond Monica. Protect your future. Let her go. Rita wound down her investigation, still promising to chase every possible lead. One Friday evening, as rain hammered the motel windows, a letter arrived. There was no return address, just my name, written in Monica's familiar backward slant. My hands shook as I opened it. David, I know I can never undo what I've done. I had my reasons, but all you need to know is that I believed, once, that things could be different. Don't wait for me. Spend nothing of your life waiting for someone who can only love what she can steal. M. The words were infuriating, infuriatingly true. I showed Steve and Vanessa that night. Vanessa was blunt, she's a con, Dave. Her closure means nothing. What matters is what you do next. It was then, with my pain finally named, that I began the first steps to truly move on. I let Sharon proceed with bankruptcy protections, reorganized my assets, and opened a new bank account, one Monica's name could never touch. I started jogging again, forcing my lungs to fill with the cold clarity of morning air. I made a point of visiting my parents, listening to them, letting them grieve with me the future we'd all lost. And then, just as the wounds started knitting together, another twist, Rita called, urgent. She slipped up. Monica used your old social security number in a mortgage application, in Texas. She's getting sloppy, Dave. We have an address. My world jolted into focus. Law enforcement coordinated with Rita, Sharon prepped for a possible arrest, and I tried, not very successfully, to steal my battered heart. The night before the bust, I called Vanessa and Steve. If this ends with her in cuffs, I don't know how I'll feel. Relieved? Broken all over again? Vanessa squeezed my hand. It's not about Monica anymore. It's about getting your life back, Dave. You deserve that, whatever happens to her. The next morning, Rita texted, "It's happening." Hours crawled by. Then, "She's in custody." It's over, I felt, nothing. Numb. Not happy, not victorious, just empty, ready for whatever after meant. But as the sun set, some ancient weight finally began to melt away. This chapter wasn't finished, not by a long shot. But Monica's reign over my life, her shadow, her chaos, was broken. For the first time in months, I fell asleep, not plagued by dreams of loss, but just, simply, at peace. Bringing Monica back wasn't victory, it was the start of a new battle. I sat in the courthouse, the air thick with anticipation and resentment. Monica, once dazzling in every room, sat small and tight-lipped beside her public defender, her confidence gone, replaced by exhaustion and defeat. Evidence stacked against her, forged signatures, transfers, testimonies from banks, even a few of her former accomplices flipping for immunity. Sharon guided me through the process, protective but resolute. You have rights, David. She'll face consequences. The trial dragged on for weeks. Half the time, I felt like a witness to another man's life, one shaped by courtroom jargon, depositions, media attention I never wanted. But every day I showed up, determined to claim this chapter as my own. Testifying hurt more than I expected. I described our life together, the laughter, holidays, morning rituals, the slow rot of trust I'd missed entirely. Monica wouldn't meet my eyes. At one point, her voice broke on the stand. She claimed she was desperate, that I never saw her, that the dream home was a cage she had to escape, at any cost, that I wanted to hate her. Instead, I pitied her, a person so much cleverer than she was wise, mistaking cunning for happiness. Steve and Vanessa attended every session, unwavering support. My parents, too, sat quietly, holding hands and sharing my pain. Every night, I lay awake, wondering what would have become of Monica if she'd chosen to fight for us, instead of against me. The verdict finally came. Monica was found guilty of fraud, sentenced to time served and ordered to pay restitution, most of it unreachable, but the gesture mattered. She agreed to a restraining order, her new life as unreachable as the fortune she stole. Monica's final words to me, spoken quietly in the echo of an empty hall, were, "I truly hope you find peace, David." I never could. Ironically, her words gave me some. Not all at once, but enough to finally draw a deep, healing breath. With the case closed, I set about claiming my life. I returned to work, found a new apartment, rebuilt friendships that Monica's betrayal had strained. Steve and Vanessa threw a fresh start party, nothing fancy, just pizza, beers, and laughter, a simple night that felt more valuable than all the money Monica had tried to buy happiness with. And each morning, as I laced up my shoes for a run, I reminded myself, healing isn't a finish line. It's a daily practice, 1,000 simple choices to keep moving forward. As for Monica, the world moved on, as it always does. Years later, a new season blooms. My wounds have faded, scars, not open grief. I've rebuilt a life with meaning of its own, forged not from denial, but from new wisdom. My story is no longer about Monica or the money, but about surviving the unimaginable and finding hope after loss. Friends and family stood by me, and new doors opened. I learned to measure my days not by what was stolen, but by what remained: dignity, self-respect, a belief in tomorrow. Some betrayals come from closest quarters, but healing starts within. Sometimes, a glimpse of Monica crosses my mind, or the news, mentioning cons and embezzlement. I feel no hate, only a quiet wish that she finds her own kind of peace. For anyone out there fighting to start over, I see you. Don't let your story end in someone else's shadow. Write your own. This story is entirely fictional, though inspired by deeply complex real-life situations. To protect privacy and due to the sensitivity of these topics, all names, locations, and identities have been changed. The emotional realities and legal complications are drawn from life, but the characters are composites. Thank you for watching this video. If this story resonated with you, or if you have your own experiences, let us know in the comments. Subscribe for more true-to-life drama on Voices of Ishtiraki. I'll see you in the next video.